Well, hey, everybody. Brendan Gulick with you from Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse after game one of the NBA playoffs, where the Cavs, unfortunately, just didn't quite have enough tonight against the New York Knicks. Final score is 101-97. This is our recap on Cavs Insider. A frustrating night for sure, because there were definitely moments where, frankly, I thought the Cavs looked like they were going to be the better team by the end of the night, but ultimately lacked some consistency in some critical moments. Um, Statistically in so many categories, things were tight, but ultimately not enough for the Cavs. Frankly, they didn't rebound the ball nearly well enough, especially in the second half. Maybe a few misses there in the third quarter from the free throw line, ultimately proved costly. And despite the fact that they had a tie game in the third quarter at 54, and then ultimately went down 11 points, climbed all the way back and took a late lead, just wasn't quite enough. New York in the second half basically got offensive rebounds on almost 50% of the shots that they missed from the floor. And I think that was really the ultimate thing that undid the Cavs this evening in the 101-97 loss. We did have a chance to hear from JB Bickerstaff, and then we obviously talked with Darius, Garland, and Donovan Mitchell. And if you're interested in their full comments, we streamed it live right here on our YouTube channel, so you can check that out. But I think the biggest takeaways, certainly from JB, he was asked point blank, are you still searching for the guys you can trust in your rotation? And he said no. He said, look, we know who we're going to go to in those moments. Maybe we have to go a little bit deeper into our bench if things aren't working well, but it's not a trust factor. Obviously, the Cavs bench coming into this series is a bit of a focal point because they haven't been all that productive this year, at least in terms of overall scoring. The reality is this offense has been very good overall if you look at, the total statistics, but way too much of that seemingly comes from the guys that are on the floor at the start of the night. So, if for some reason like tonight where Evan Mobley missed a bunch of shots inside the paint, if he's having an off night for whatever reason, things haven't typically been picked up in the scoring column from guys on the bench. I know there was a stretch tonight where Dean Wade had struggled a little bit. The Jetty played okay off the bench, but maybe not as well as the Cavs would have liked. They certainly need more from the bench guys outside of what they get from Donovan and Darius for sure. But JB reiterated that it's not a trust thing. JB did say, look, this is a wake-up call for us. And I think the common thread between all three of their conversations was around the physicality of the playoffs. Donovan said, look, we weren't surprised by the physicality. We understood what we were getting into. But the way he put it, he said, if we go back and watch the tape, he goes, I think we're going to see that there was a lot of effort made, and then it would take one or two additional things to eventually go their way. And maybe that was the ultimate frustrating part for them was it wasn't as though they didn't try. I mean, look, 101 points allowed really isn't that bad. That's a pretty good defensive night. And statistically, the Cavs actually shot it at a better percentage than the Knicks did tonight. But it still wasn't a great shooting night for Cleveland. Certainly not what we're accustomed to seeing from them. So, I think both Darius and Donovan took, they shouldered some of the blame and ultimately said, look, we both need to be a little bit more assertive. Donovan ripped off 4 different possessions right off the top of his head where he said, I could have done this. I could have done this. I shouldn't have taken that bad shot. Darius said, I need to be a little bit more aggressive, not, passing up on open looks in the second half. But ultimately there wasn't a whole lot of anxiety in talking with these guys. I think they basically said this isn't the end of the world. It's a tough start, but fine. You lose home court advantage, and now you got to try to make it happen and flip the script here coming forward. So hopefully the Cavs are going to be able to do that. Just a quick look at the box score overall. I mean, it was a great night from Donovan Mitchell. Gosh, he was special. 38 points, 14 of 30 from the floor. Maybe not a great start to the game for him, but he certainly got it going in the second quarter and then carried that into the second half. He finished the game 6 of 16 from 3. Jared Allen didn't score a ton. 14 points is certainly solid, but he had a double-double with 14 rebounds. Evan Mobley finished with 8 and 11, so perhaps a little bit frustrating for him offensively in that he only finished 4 of 13 from the floor. Isaac Okoro in 22 minutes had 1 of 6 shooting, had 3 rebounds and 2 assists, and a lot of his minutes off the bench went to Karis LeVert and to Jetty Osman, who combined for 12 points. Karis and Dean Wade in particular, if you're into following the plus-minus, those guys struggled a little bit in that when they were on the floor, the team was minus 14. Obviously, that's not a great sign, but plus-minus doesn't always tell the full story. So we'll see if the Cavs can get that fixed. On the flip side, Jalen Brunson was really good, 27 points, 11 of 24 shooting. I thought he was pretty solid in critical moments, too. I was impressed by his poise. Julius Randle, obviously, there were question marks coming into this series on whether or not he'd be available. He looked good, 19 points, 10 rebounds. I don't think he looked terrific, but he certainly looked good. I wasn't surprised to see him out there based on the way he played. It's not as though he was obviously unhealthy and trying to go. Randall was certainly a problem for the Cavs tonight. And Josh Hart off the bench in almost 33 minutes was really solid. 8 of 11 from the floor, double-double for him with 17 and 10. So Cavs have to hit the reset button. They dropped game 1 in this NBA playoffs and the best-of-7 series with the New York Knicks. Things will get rolling again on Tuesday night right here in Cleveland. It'll be at 7:30 Tuesday night as the Cavs try to even the series at 1 game apiece before they head to Madison Square Garden later this week. As always, we've got all the latest news and updated information for you over on CavsInsider.com. We appreciate your support all season long and hope you'll stick with us throughout our playoff coverage as well. I'm Brendan Gulick. One more time, final score tonight from Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, 101-97. The Knicks take the opener here in the playoffs.